Rally, now a crime scene, a massive crime scene, and an active crime scene, and the site of the first assassination attempt against an American president in more than 40 years. The horrifying image is former President Trump clutching his ear. You see it right there after shots rang out, ducking for cover behind his podium, the Secret Service forming a human shield around him and rushing him off stage. Trump raising his fist in defiance, telling his supporters to fight as the blood streamed down his face.
The gunman taken down by the Secret Service, the shooting leaving one rally-goer dead, another two badly wounded, still hospitalized. President Biden, before the cameras last night, calling the shooting sick, as politicians on both sides of the aisle condemn the violence and support the former president. And this morning, what we're learning about the shooter, Tom.
And the latest on the investigation, Kate, right, which is now underway, plus the political fallout just hours before the start of the Republican National Convention, an election resting on a razor's edge and a nation now left reeling. Kate, I want to set the scene for you just behind me. As I mentioned, we were just outside the Trump rally here. This is where it happened last night. Former President Trump speaking underneath that American flag. Just to the right of me here, this barn you see with the door open, that's where law enforcement snipers were. That's where they engaged the alleged assassin. Ultimately, the assassin was killed. He was just, I'd say, a tenth of a mile from where we are. We're going to show you video of that. Up on that roof, we saw investigators this morning, about a half dozen of them. They were up there early in the morning, sort of, looking for evidence, collecting evidence. It seemed like they were moving pieces of machinery as well, and then they eventually came down. But they've been working on this crime scene around the clock, as you can imagine, trying to answer two questions, right? One, why this man wanted to kill former President Trump, what was inside of him, but also, they also want to know how he was able to get so close. And while the identity of that shooter is known this morning, there are still so many questions surrounding exactly how this happened. Overnight, former President Trump walking off his plane hours after surviving this assassination attempt.
They said, take a look at what happened.
Shots ringing out as President Trump ducks down. Secret Service agents rush to his side, forming a protective shield. Other officers in tactical gear, armed with long guns, post up at the front of the stage.
Hold, are you ready? On you. Ready, move!
Trump's security detail lifting him up from the ground as he raises his fist, his ear and face bloody, gesturing to the crowd. The Secret Service then moving him into an awaiting SUV. Another angle showing Secret Service agents reacting to the shots. The former president posting on his Truth Social account that he, quote, was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong in that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. This stunning photo from the New York Times capturing what appears to be a bullet on the right-hand side of the image, whizzing by the former president's ear.
If he had not moved his head at that nick of time, it could have been a lot worse.
Mr. Trump extending his condolences to the family of the person at the rally who was killed, and also to the family of another person that was badly injured.
The man beside me suffered a gunshot wound to the head, was instantly killed.
President Biden, who learned about the tragic events, condemned the shooting.
There's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this.
This video shows the body of the alleged assassin on the roof of a building, his spot just roughly 150 yards from where Mr. Trump was speaking. One witness telling BBC News he saw the shooter.
We noticed the guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us. We're like, hey man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him up the stage? Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots rang out.
Early this morning, the FBI identifying the alleged gunman as Thomas Matthew Crooks, 20 years old, of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania.
but why he allegedly wanted to kill former President Trump, still unclear. The FBI now leading an investigation involving the Secret Service, ATF, and state and local law enforcement on the ground in Butler, Pennsylvania. The alleged gunman killing one spectator and gravely injuring two others.
This evening we had what we're calling an assassination attempt against our former president, Donald Trump.
And we have two new pieces of information, two new pieces of reporting I want to share with our viewers right now. The first being that those two victims that were gravely injured in the shooting, we've gotten an update from the medical facility in Pittsburgh where they're being treated. They're still in critical condition this morning, so their situation is still very, very serious. The Secret Service also coming out with a statement. They're saying there's a lot of misinformation out there, and there was an online report that the Trump campaign had asked for additional security, additional Secret Service protection, and they were denied. The Secret Service this morning is saying that is absolutely false. They've actually ramped up their protection of former President Trump, and our reporting from NBC News matches that from about a month ago. With that, I do want to bring in a special guest to join our coverage, Richard Goldinger. He's the district attorney for Butler County. And Richard, I thank you for joining us. There's a lot of questions out there. When you see everything that's happening behind you, everything that's happened over the last 12 hours, what goes through your head?
Honestly, it's shocking. It's shocking that this would have happened. I mean, the last attempt on a president was in 1980, I think, and you know, for it to happen in your own community, you just don't believe it would happen here. So, with everything that's going down right now is really surreal.
You walk around this neighborhood, there are Trump flags, Trump placards, people have the lawn signs for president. This is Trump County, Trump country, I should say. This is Western PA, right? Right on the border of Ohio. Do you think because of that, Secret Service, maybe local law enforcement, didn't take this as seriously as they needed to?
No, I don't think so. I think they did everything they could. You just can't predict somebody that has, a desire to commit the act that was committed, and they did everything they could. I don't know what happened. I don't know how that gentleman got up on that building like that, but I don't know that. I mean, you can second guess, obviously, all day long, but I don't think that there was anything they could have probably done differently because they were prepared.
Even the FBI has said they're surprised about how close this gentleman got. I should say the alleged assassin. It was about 150 yards, 440 feet. It's just down the road from where we are. It is so close when you walk up to it. It's so close. How do you think that happened? I mean, the Secret Service was here. Yes, it was outside the perimeter, but we know that long guns can fire 200 yards.
Right. I think that's the $1 million question. And I don't really know the answer to that. I would have expected that they would have had that building secured. And I know we had people in that building. So how this occurred, the investigation will determine that.
The alleged shooter who was killed, Thomas Matthew Crooks, 20 years old. We know that he was from a community not far from here. What other light can you shed for us about the alleged shooter to our viewers?
So I don't know a whole lot about him. He's not from Butler County. So he would be from south of Pittsburgh. We didn't have any history with him. So
he wasn't somebody who had a criminal record, from what we understand.
Correct.
So he wasn't on your radar.
No, he was not.
Talk to me about gun laws, what people can expect that is normal behavior here. If somebody is walking armed, if somebody is walking with a rifle, is that normal here, or is it could people be hunting? Could they? Your laws, walk our viewers through it.
Well, this is a big hunting county. A lot of people hunt here. I'll bet a lot of people own firearms in this county too. It's a pro-gun county, let's say. To see somebody walking with a rifle, you would probably stop and say, what's this individual up to? So that would be unusual to see, but to see somebody with guns here in Butler County would not be surprising.
One of the rally goers, at least a couple of them, have said that they noticed him bear crawling on the roof. They started alerting police. This looks strange. What is? Do you guys see this guy? Local police started running around. What's your understanding of the police officers that were notified and their sort of TikTok moment by moment what they did?
So I did hear that as well, that people were notifying them about that they observed him on that building, and I know they reacted. Law enforcement did as soon as they could. I mean, I don't think they're going to just take a shot at him, if you know what I mean.